Video is being recorded on the late afternoon of Sunday, June 18th, 2023. It's being recorded for the week of June 19th to the 23rd. Thank you so much for tuning in, and just bear with me, guys. I have been fighting off a cold in the last couple of days, so just bear that in mind as we go through the video here. One other housekeeping item. I think I have figured out how to record while using the mouse, so I think when I'm making points, I can use the mouse, and a couple of you guys have requested that, so that should make these videos much better. Okay, that aside, let's get into it. So starting off here, we have the daily candle charts for gold and silver. Gold at the top, silver at the bottom. And so here you can see the mouse. So the interesting thing about gold, I've talked about this, like when you're in a real gold bull market, the pullbacks come to the 50-day, 100-day, or the 150-day. You know, here you can see here, this is the 100-day, this is the 150, this is the 200. So gold has been holding here several times, been holding here around 1940, 1950 on a closing basis. And if there's any buying that comes in this market, any strength, and it can push above, 1980, 1990 or so, maybe it can pop up here and get a little bit more push here above 2000. Now, the bearish scenario is that we haven't seen that much strength, and that gold eventually meaning in the coming days, that is probably going to lose this support here around 1950. And, one point about that is the dollar has been pretty weak the last couple of weeks, and gold has not performed that well, considering that weakness of the dollar. And when I look at gold against foreign currencies, I look at gold against commodities, those charts in a very short-term respect are not in favor of gold. And, we consider what's been going on with gold against the stock market. Stock market's made this huge move higher recently. And so gold in real terms is not particularly strong. So that leads me to think that, the market is more likely to eventually fall below this support line here. And then if that were to happen, you would probably come down here around 1900 and 1880. Those are the next levels. Be careful, because you always see fake outs in gold, and maybe this would even fake me out if we get some buying and we get a move up like this. Be careful, because that would look really good in the short term sense, but it is possible you get that type of move and then you get the move down like that. So moving on to silver. Silver right now, it has the resistance here at 24.50, initial support. It bounced off that on Thursday, so initial support around 23.25. So it's in a bit of a range here. If it were to lose this, then it would come down and test the 200-day. So there's good support here just below 22.50. And the one thing about silver has been showing more strength than gold, but that makes sense, because if you're in a situation where the stock market's going up, and also, as the stock market's been going up, capital is now starting to go into other stocks aside from tech stocks. And so, materials and commodities are starting to strengthen a little bit. So in that type of scenario, in the very short term, that's more bullish for silver than gold, even though, the preferred macro scenario for precious metals is economic weakness, recession, Fed rate cuts. That scenario, which is going to trigger the really big move, it's very more likely than not that gold is going to outperform silver when you're going into that type of move. So, we do like to see silver outperforming, but I think it's, for a macro reason, which doesn't really support, a new real bull market in precious metals. So, with that said, if we could see some buying come in, and silver could push it above 24.50, maybe you could see it get to 26. Silver never hit 26 on a weekly closing basis. So it'll probably test this 24.50, and so we'll see it pops above here, or it's going to fall back and test, below 22.50. So getting to the stocks here, GDX, GDXJ, SILJ. And, the look here I've highlighted, you can see here in the thumbnails. I mean, especially here in SILJ, this kind of looks like, and again, we can't always go by looks, the silver stocks, and you go last week, I think they're, ETF rebalancing, or maybe there's some funds that had to liquidate silver juniors because a lot of silver juniors have just got crushed last week. And so that's kind of want to say that's like not real selling, but that's artificial. So you could see, I mean, it's temporary. So you force selling. So you could see if there's, any rebound in precious metals this coming week, you could see silver stocks snap back if that selling's done. But getting back to what I said earlier, yeah, I mean, this could be a little bit of a double bottom here, looking at, or a higher low, but, in a long-term sense, kind of looks like a mini double bottom. So, looking at GDXJ here, closed at 37.18. You can see here, there's resistance here. So, that comes at about 38.50 on a closing basis. Excuse me, I don't know where the mute button is. So that's the initial resistance here for GDXJ. So even if it moves up here, don't get too excited unless it can close above that. And same thing for Silge. I mean, resistance is here just above 10. And for GDXJ, you can see here, 32, a little bit above that. So certainly we could see a little bit more buying in the stocks, but we would want to see them take out this resistance here, and then you get an even better move like that. And you can see that resistance. I mean, that's the 200-day for SILJ. So I think we could see a little bit of strength, but again, given the larger macro backdrop, excuse me. Given the larger macro backdrop, I'm just, I'm not sure that we're ready yet for that big move higher, especially if the stock market continues higher and money is going into all these other places. So, that's my view of things right now. But, if I am wrong, then the stock market, if it peters out, if this rally peters out and you get a reversal, that is something that could trigger a bigger sustained move in the miners. So again, to sum it up, I think the immediate upside potential you have here, and then here, but it's going to take a lot more, I think, to push above that. That's it for the video. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry about the coughs. I'll fix that. And I'll talk to you guys again in the next video.